Entangled Hearts by Sayumi101. Act 2. Travel Companions. So, other than your vague journeying northwest, what's your exact travel route? Oh, I am in search of her who they call the Crimson Witch. I unfurled the map at my waist. Here, here, and here is where her most recent sightings were. So we're going to travel from town to town in hope we cross paths? It sounds a bit foolish of a plan when I hear it like that. The fairy seats herself on my shoulder again, arms folded. I don't exactly understand what she's trying to say, but it's giving me the feeling that she's telling Damien to be nicer to me. Damien turns back to me, not really commenting on what she just said. Anything else? Oh, I'd like to also hit the arcane library on the way. There is some research material that I was missing in my library back home. Got it? I pause, only just realizing that I had alluded to having my own personal library, which is so privileged that I hope it did not come across like I was bragging. But he didn't seem to think much of it. In fact, he was engrossed in looking at the areas I circled. He uses his nail to indent pathways between the different circles, some different lines I'd marked out. Was there something wrong with the original route? It was the most efficient in terms of distance, yes, but you have a horse. These paths would be better in terms of evenness of the roads, elevation, and proximity to water. It also ensures a good overlap with towns so you can minimize areas with bandits and wild animals. I guess I really did hire the right person. Don't make me charge you extra for routing. Yes, please go ahead. Charging you extra? No, reading the map. Stingy. I plop around, waiting patiently until he's done. You're looking for the Crimson Witch. Why? The inevitable question. Because I have a condition. A condition? I guess you could call it a sickness. The look on his face is thoughtful for a couple of seconds. The fairy takes to stroking my hair as if she could sense the sudden brunt of nervousness I was feeling. Got it. Not prying. As long as I get paid, I don't really care. Thank you. Sometimes I can't tell if he's being kind or just plain rude. But I guess it doesn't matter. We're about to set out. Bringing only one horse was an oversight on my part. Perhaps I could write back home to bring me another. Damien looks at my horse. She looks back. They have a staring contest, and surprisingly, in the very next second, she nuzzles Damien. Oh, come on. She looks sturdy enough. We should be fine to ride with both of us. He pets her mane and she lets out a harums as if to agree. My route is taking this into account too. Don't worry, your pretty little head, young noble. Noble? What makes you say that? I know I have let out enough information that insinuated so, but I still try to pretend otherwise. Maybe I could get away with that apprentice talk like I did with Yan and Mo. For one, I'm not stupid. Someone literally followed you and insisted you be guarded. That doesn't happen unless you're relatively well off. And you don't look like you've seen much sun in your life. My complexion is naturally pale. It really doesn't make a difference to me, noble or not. Like I told you before, as long as you pay me, I'll be on your side. So much for pretending. I resign my fate as I use the stirrups and raise myself onto my horse. Ask him to get on. I scooch forwards a little, making room. You can get on by yourself. He doesn't answer, just hops on the horse with an ease that I've never seen before. I guess that was a yes. Yes, happy. My back tensens up a little. I don't think I have ever been in such close quarters with someone. I wonder what Mother would say. All set? I snapped back to reality. Damien had fastened his belongings to my steed as well. All set. I take a hold of the reins and pull back some, before straightening up and guiding my horse. It's a little uncomfortable. I keep elbowing Damien in the ribs when I steer her around. And in a way, I flinch more than he does. Oh jeez. He sighs, his hands taking the reins from me. Let me... No, I can't. You're a little hyper-vigilant. You'll tire yourself out. I won't. Really? Your elbow isn't going to bruise me or nothing? Okay. If I were hyper-vigilant of elbowing him before, now I was of the fact that his arms were draped around my waist as he held the reins. Of how I could feel the warmth of his bare skin in his many muscles. And the breath fanning against the base of my neck wasn't helping. A single horse was definitely an oversight. Damien didn't seem to think much of it. Living life out of the palace was where no one dared to come into contact with me, just meant that my sense of distance was a little warped. I just have to get used to this. We ride on. Just as the sun is about to set, we come across a sign of an inn. Perfect timing. Damien, let's situate ourselves for the night. Aight. Wait, you're paying for my lodgings too? Of course. I would rather we not sleep out in the wilderness if we have an alternative. You already pay me a daily wage. Oh, consider this a bonus then. You can just get a room for yourself. I can sleep in an adjoining hall. The floor should be comfortable enough for me. He sounds uneasy. Now. I'm not sure what's worrying him. Maybe that I wouldn't be able to pay him at some point. Should we splurge now? Do not worry, I will get 2 of the cheapest rooms, so it will not stretch my funds too thin. And I will be able to pay you what we agreed for how long we have agreed for. That works, I guess. He doesn't sound fully convinced, but an affirmative should work for now, I guess. Great! I feel a sharp jolt in my back, instantly causing me to break out in cold sweat. Alright, I'll see you in the morning then. I rush out before the pain spreads throughout me. I just about managed to shut myself in my room before falling to the floor on my knees. That stings. Hey, what are you doing? Come back here. What? Fine. There's a knock at the door. Hey there, you alright? She said she heard a noise. Yes, I just need some sleep. Good night. I can hardly process anything through my blurry vision. I am just tired. I think my voice sounds a little desperate for it to be completely believable, but I press on. Like you said, I do not travel often. Okay, night. I feel a wave of relief wash over me when I hear his footsteps receding and no longer feel the fairies buzzing. I open up my bag and barely manage to chew on my herbs and pick myself off the floor to the bed before well and truly passing out. Stop. I'm begging you. Free my child. Anything but. I beg you. I blink once, twice. My arms are aching from the fight yesterday. I feel like death warmed over. I pick myself off the bed with much effort, just barely managing to splash some cold water on my face. I emerge from my room, only to be greeted by the little fairy. Good morning to you too. I follow her lead where Damien was just lounging around the seating area. Good morning. He gives me a little nod. I seat myself across from him. You look like death warmed over. I can't help but laugh at having him use the exact same words I had earlier that morning. I certainly feel it. Honestly, my pack is killing me. I purse my lips up. The last thing I wanted now was to come across more spoilt. The fairy is making chopping actions at my shoulders, as if to comfort me. At least someone was on my side. You slept in a proper bed last night. Yes, but I think sleeping on grass the day before had just caught up with me. Wow, you're way more privileged than I thought. I chose to ignore him, just arcing my back, trying to find some semblance of relief. I try to follow the way the fairy was stretching, mimicking it the best I can. Oh jeez. Come here. Huh? I'll help. He motions me over, rather impatiently. I Guess it won't hurt. I walk over, and his palms press into my shoulder blades. He works in pressure before replacing it with his thumbs. Perfect circular motions working their way into the base of my neck and then lower. I close my eyes as I feel my back crunch in response when he makes my shoulders arc backwards. Dang. He continues his ministrations, and then it brings much relief. There we go. I feel almost disappointed when his fingers leave me. I wave that thought away frantically. Wow, you must be a professional. My back feels as light as a feather. It was still a tiny bit sore. So were my arms, but they feel infinitely looser. I just know muscles well. Well, he seems to have enough of them to know them well. Ah, might be so, but your fingers really did feel so divine. He snickers, eyebrows dancing playfully. Divine? I did not mean it in an odd way. His snickers don't die down, but I let it pass. But dang, I still can't believe how crunched up your back was from just laying on an inn mattress. And grass. Yes, and grass. Well, at least he is humoring me. I'd hate to see you after a night on a stone-cold floor. How very sweet of you. I hear the slight sarcasm in my voice as it astounds me. I don't believe I have ever spoken to anyone like this, be it whether mirroring someone or not. That'll be 10 silver, boss. And the moment is gone. I will include that in your daily wages. Yay! His yay is so dry it causes me to laugh. Have you eaten? Yes. We set out again. I let Damien take the reins since it really was more efficient. I've revised the route, boss. Why? To avoid camping as much as possible. Ah, I feel touched. She insisted. But the efficiency. The revised route would add 2 days and a half at most. I think it's a fair trade-off. And you are sure about this? Positive. Very well. She says that we're almost wrapping our day up earlier today so that we can rest and go back to 100. Thank you. Granted, I do not fully understand her fairy speak, but oddly, I don't think that's exactly what she said. As promised, we arrive at the intended destination long before sunset. Are you hungry? Right. We will get you some food. What do you like? Flowers. Oh, honey. I turn to Damien, catching him staring at us. You will come along? Not like I got a choice now, do I? We settle down. The fairy buzzes around excitedly as soon as the food we ordered arrives. Goodness, Damien. What? That is a bowl of just straight up meat and mushrooms. Your point? That cannot be healthy. Your diet compromising of just protein marinated in sauce of some kind. Hey, you're eating some soup made from some fruit and drinking hot leaf water. Do you see me complaining? There's so much wrong with that sentence that I don't know where to begin. This is squash soup. Basically a fruit. And did you just call tea hot leaf water? Tell me I'm wrong. Well, you are not, but that is certainly an opinion to have. The right opinion? Well, that so-called hot leaf water warms you up. It relieves tension and is the best at. Besides, it comes with honey and she likes that. It's your money. Drink what you want, but keep your hot leaf water away from me. I sigh. Oh, I have been thinking, but what is her name? She's a newborn fairy. She doesn't have one. What about Prim? Prim, short for primrose. Like that flower out there. I think it suits you. Prim it is then. Don't just go naming my fairy. Your fairy friend. I think she likes that name though. You do, right, Prim? I think that is a yes. Damien grumbles, clearly annoyed by this. Fairies don't need names. They don't speak our language. Might be so, but I think names are important to become close to someone. I cannot just keep calling her you or little fairy. That is very dehumanizing. She isn't a human. Yes, you understand what I mean though. He grumbles again, but for some reason, I feel like he gets it. Oh, that is right. My name... It's Cass. The annoyance on his face gives way to a smirk. Is this your way of saying you want to be close to me? I sputter at that. What? No, I meant you should know who I am and... I give up. Yes. Go back to your fruit soup. Damien snickers to himself, turning himself to his food. Prim had situated herself on the table between us, and she hums happily, swinging her legs about a little, as happy as a little fairy could be. And I can't help but smile as I take in the scene before me. Having travel companions. It was nice. We set off yet again. This time, we don't reach another town by sunset, but the grass we were camping on is oddly soft. This didn't seem wholly accidental. Prim, what's wrong? There's a tear in her tiny skirt, and it seems to be positively devastating her. Aw, please don't be sad. Come here. I will help you fix your skirt. I pull out my compact sewing kit. Sitting down on the soft grass, I pat my shoulder. See? I can help you. She perches herself atop my shoulder, buzzing in excitement. I gingerly take hold of her skirt, and with the smallest sewing needle I have, I set to work mending her clothes. The angle is a little hard to work with, to be honest. Damien picks her up softly and places her on his palm, holding her out in front of my face. Thank you. Yeah. I get to work to mending it, leaving the embroidered path of a flower to cover up the hole. And I only just noticed that Damien had been staring at my face all this time, gaze unwavering. Why are you looking at me as if I have offended you in some way? What kind of noble knows how to sew, let alone embroider? The kind that is competent. Now, do not listen to the grump, Prim. Do you want me to also braid your hair for you? I point at the braids in my hair. I am quite good at it. In fact, I can do more intricate styles than this. She is quite aggressively pointing at the flowers growing on the bushes, right next to where we were seated. Of course, we could braid them into your hair, no problem. She flies in an excited loop in the air before zooming out to get some of the tiny petals. I guess it's okay since you treat her so well. Sorry, I didn't quite catch you. What did you say? Nothing. Prim is back with the flowers and she pokes Damien's hands. Begrudgingly, he moves back into place, demoted to just a perch of sorts for the fairy. He is quite silent as he watches me braid Prim's hair, just as intensely as he had been when I was mending her skirt. And it's honestly making me a little nervous, even though all he's doing is staring unabashedly. Do you want me to braid something in your hair as well, Damien? It's too short. I believe I can make do. Come here, I can do it if you want to. No flowers or braids for me. He sighs. No braids for me. Thank you, Prim. You called her Prim? Well, it's her name. I thought you knew. He's back to smirking again. Of course I knew. I named her. Oh, that right. I seem to have forgotten. I fold my arms across my chest. How convenient of you. And right before the sun sets, I take my herbs again. We travel without incident for the next couple of days, and now I am able to time my curse much better, so that I can slip away from the two of them right before it kicks in. For the past couple of nights, we had been camping out in the wilderness, and not lucked out much in the soft grass department. We had also made quite a dent in the food my cook had packed for me. There! I can see the walls of the next town in the distance. We hop off my horse, tying her to a nearby tree and walk into town. The streets of a quaint town are strangely deserted. The houses lining the streets were well built. It's quiet. Too quiet. But there's not a single person in sight. Not even a child. The windows of all the buildings were boarded up, like they were trying to keep something out. How eerie. Prim? She's pulling at my shoulder, desperately and covering up her nose. Damien, something... My words are cut short when he none too kindly pushes his palms against my nose, making me struggle to breathe through it. There's something in the air. You alright? Yes. I replace his hand on my nose with my own sleeve, breathing through it. Prim is doing the same. The air doesn't smell any different, but it feels slightly thicker than it ought to. Or maybe I was imagining things. What about you? Are you alright? My ears are ringing a little, but I'm good. We need to take cover. I pull Prim closer, making sure her tiny face was fully covered. I follow close behind him. We stare where she's pointing to. It's a building with an inn sign on it. Good job, Prim. We rush into the building. The inside is just as desolate as the town itself. What is happening here? I do not recall hearing of such a deserted town around these parts. I wonder. Oh my! Guests! There's a palpable tension in her voice. I think Damien senses it too, because he speaks up. We need lodging, please. His voice is a lot more soft and soothing than I have ever heard it. He even says please. I am sorry, sirs, but we are tight-pressed on resources. I don't believe we can serve you well here. You have rooms with a roof, yes? Yes, but food... That will be plenty. Thank you. Was there a food shortage here? We would really appreciate it. Yes, okay. Please allow me some time to make some arrangements. She bustles away, still as panicked as when she first saw us walk in. Damien and I exchange looks. He looks just as curious as I do. She comes back with the keys to our rooms. They are not the best, but they are warm and will charge you less. I can't keep myself contained any longer. What is going on here? It's nothing. I feel really bad for putting her on the spot like this, but her state was bothering me. The state of the town, the gloomy atmosphere all around the city that fell just under the jurisdiction of one of the most decorated noble families in the kingdom. What's going on here? Little bright-eyed kid is what we done have no money. Dear, lower your voice. I turned to the man, the innkeep's husband, who had just stumbled in, slightly drunk but loose-lipped. At least, he seemed somewhat willing to speak. I wave him over. Honey, please don't... He doesn't listen to his wife as he walks over to us. And what money is it that you lack? In taxes. Something wasn't adding up. Taxes? But I believe that all taxes are weighted according to a business's respective sales. How could an entire town fall behind? It's 'cause we have an additional tax to pay around these parts. For the air. For the air? Yep. They call it air tax. An air tax? It sounded ridiculous. So ridiculous, in fact. I am parroting his words just to make sure if I was getting it right. Our dear old lord is most generous. He makes poor business decisions, loses money in the most ridiculous ventures, and accrue onto his people quite revolutionary forms of taxation. If we pay him the air tax, he graciously does not pump poison into it. What? What you felt out there in the air? It's a poison. Not fatal, course, but enough that prolonged exposure sickens you. And 'cause we can't afford it, our townsfolk hasn't seen the sun, let alone the sky, for a couple months now. I'm having trouble wrapping my head all around this. And you just let him? Excuse me? Prim ducks under the table next to Damien when he shouts. Hello friends, thanks for watching that video, and if you like my voice acting, you can support me by subscribing. Alright, that's it. Bye senpai.